Yep, come on.
Hello?
Sir?
Village board? Somebody's not right. You all right? You all right?
Okay. All right, if we could rise to the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could remain standing and just take a moment for Chris Krill's mom, Mrs. Robotsky. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right.
Raspotsky.
Robotsky, I'm sorry. Our military men and women that are in the armed forces now here and abroad. And of course we need to remember those, which is extremely sad. I'm not liking when I have to do this, but the shooting in El Paso and Detroit. Thank you. Is there any public comment? If not, I'll move on. I have minutes. We have minutes before us from July 15, 2019. It was a regular meeting. And then on July 30th, we had a special meeting. You have the minutes before you. If we could approve the minutes.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Livesey, second by trustee DeSalvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I'd like to open up the property maintenance hearing, 6 Catherine Street and 10 Mullen. You have, these are recurred, I think these are, aren't these both recurred?
Yes.
Okay, it's a shame. So, is there anyone here, owner or representing 6 Catherine Street or 10 Mullen? Let the record show no.
Ken Mulder's third time.
Third time. So instead of that person cutting their grass, which I could probably do within an hour, this is costing them over $1,000. I'll do it for $20.
Is anyone living there?
Nope.
What's that?
No, it's an estate. The lawyer has the estate. It's not Mulder.
So you have the property locations, whereas a long-standing violation of the Village Property Maintenance Law, Chapter 170 of the Village of Highland Falls Code have existed at each property listed above, designated as numbers also shown above, the section, block, and lot. Whereas the property owner or owners have been given due notice of said violations and have been directed to correct and the violations. And whereas the property owner or owners were given due notice of a public hearing to be held by the Board of Trustees on the 5th of August 2019 at 7 p.m. to determine whether the violations have been properly remedied and whether to order the corrective action be undertaken by the village to correct said violations at the property owner's cost and expense, to bill the cost and expense to the property owner, and to levy same against the property. And whereas a public hearing was duly held by the Board of Trustees on the 5th of August 2019, and whereas the owner or owners did not appear, and whereas the owner or owners have not taken steps to correct the violations, and the violations still exist, and whereas the Board of Trustees is authorized pursuant to Section 170-2 of the Property Maintenance Law to authorize that the village undertake to remedy such violations at the property owner's cost and expense. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the village, its contractors, or agents shall enter upon the property to correct the violations, and that all costs incurred by the village, including administrative, legal, and corrective costs, be charged to the property owner, and such charge shall be added to the tax bill of the property owner if not paid within 30 days of notification to the last known address of the property owner as shown on the village tax records, dated the 5th of August, 2019, Highland Falls, New York. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by trustee Raymond, second by trustee DeSalvo. May I have roll call?
Trustee Alward.
Aye.
Trustee Livesey.
Aye.
Trustee Ramus. Trustee DeSalvo.
Aye.
Mayor Denarpia.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. The village clerk is asking for permission to send Anna Sierra and Barbara Mellon to the Civil Service Seminar on the 7th of August from 1:30 in the afternoon to 4:30, Goshen, New York.
Motion. Second.
Motion by trustee Howard, second by trustee DeSalvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. For the record, after the property maintenance public hearing, as we just went through, was over, may I have a motion to close it?
So moved.
Second. Trustee Howard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution for final notice termination of service for unpaid water bills, May 2019. Whereas the Village of Highland Falls has 133 delinquent water accounts in the amount of $32,042 remaining unpaid, including fees from May 2019 water billing. Therefore, be it resolved that the clerk notify all delinquent water customers that unless payment is made before 4 p.m. on Tuesday, August 20th, 2019, water service will be terminated. Be it further resolved that any service that is terminated, a reconnect fee of $75 will be charged to restore the service. May I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a second? Trustee Howard, may I have roll call?
Trustee Alward.
Aye.
Trustee Livesey.
Aye.
Trustee Ramus.
Aye.
Trustee DeSalvo.
Yes.
Mayor Denarpia.
Aye. Motion carries. Our first meeting in September falls on Labor Day, September 2. So if I could have a motion to move it to September 3.
Motion. Second.
Motion by trustee Livesey, second by trustee DeSalvo. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Recommendation from the chief of police recommending the appointment of Antonio Esperar as a part-time police officer with our department pending passing a medical and psychological. He has received pre-employment approval by the Orange County Civil Service and is a retired New York City, from the New York City Police Department, officer for over 20 years of law enforcement experience. And he lives in the Village of Highland Falls. So I have a motion by trustee DeSalvo, is there a second? Seconded by trustee Livesey. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And you see there his hourly rate, which is with a maximum probation, is dictated by union contracts. Recommendation from the chief of police for our IT service. We had an IT company. How long, Gina? Quite a while, many years.
About 15.
Out of Cornwall, correct?
Yeah, about 15.
15 years.
No.
And he retired, and so did his business. So we've been interviewing and calling other communities and seeing what they're doing and who they have. And we've settled on a local fella here for our IT service, High Tech Computer Solutions. They're located on Main Street, just up the street here. We've had a couple interviews with him. He's gone over our systems, and we feel good with the contract, and it'd be tonight if we could hire him.
I'll definitely make a motion. I think that's a great.
Motion by trustee
I'll
Lindsay, second by trustee DeSalvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next we have approved bid from TAM, $169,728.73 for removal of a fire damage repair demolition at the wastewater treatment plant. We went out to bid. We had several bidders. We had an on-site tour with our engineer and our wastewater treatment plant operator, John Jones. We had several questions that were answered by our engineer, by those that wanted to put a bid in. And seems like a month ago, maybe, Gina, the bids were open, maybe 3 weeks ago. I was there, I don't remember anymore.
Yeah.
But the low bidder came in at $39,000. The second lowest bidder was TAM, who we've had before here doing other work, quite a bit actually, of $169,728.73. And so what this administration does is we check out every low bidder. By law, we have to take the low bidder. That's the law for a municipality. But we have the right to check them out and look for references and speak to their references, et cetera, and this was a process that we went through for a couple of weeks. And for reasons, we went with the second lowest bidder, again, $169,728.73. Again, the low bidder was $39,000. We just knew, we felt he could not do it for that. Now, what needs to also be said is that the insurance company that the village has is paying for the whole replacement, removal. So this does not cost the village taxpayers a dime. As I said to you many months ago and many times after, the insurance company, outside of the deductible of $2,500, is picking up the cost of any damage done by the fire back on August the 15th, 2017. Right? No, 18, I'm sorry.
18.
So this month, actually, on the 15th of August was a year ago that the fire happened, the accident. So, again, the insurance company is picking this cost up, $169,728.73. If we could have a motion to go with the recommendation of our engineer and our wastewater treatment plant operator. Okay, Brian?
It says here, just so people know about the bid, that bidder number 2 submitted a complete price proposal, demonstrated recent relevant work experience, and received a positive review from project references. I bring that up because people say, well, you know, you should have gone with the lowest one. That doesn't always happen. And I trust our engineering firm, and the insurance company did also. So that's why we chose what we chose.
Mr. Mayor, I might
Yes.
also note that the engineer ran his recommendation by the insurance
Yes.
company, who agreed 100%.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, I'm glad that you said that, because that's right, that was just the other day, and that's very important too. The insurance company was kept abreast of the situation, and, you know, For the work that has to be done down there, no one could do it for 39. I'm not sure how that came about, but anyway,
There were some tabulation
Yeah.
errors in that proposal. It's
Yeah.
just, it didn't really meet specifications.
I just think we need that sort of information about, so people understand why we did what we did.
Yes.
so I just keep wanting to say the same thing over, and you just bear with me. Again, the insurance company's paying for it, because you hear things and people like to listen to misinformation.
I'll make a motion to accept did Brian make the motion?
Brian made the motion.
I'll second the
it.
motion, sure.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 5-0. Got it? Thank you. I need authorization to sign a contract with Kelleher Construction, who is the low bidder, $201,500 for the North End Sidewalk project, per the recommendation of the village engineer.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by trustee Lipsy, is there a second? Second. Seconded by trustee Ramus. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm going to abstain.
Going to abstain, okay. So we have 4. Let's take a roll call. I know what it is. 4.
Roll call, trustee Alward,
Yes.
trustee Livesey,
Aye.
trustee Ramus.
Aye.
Trustee DeSalvo,
Abstain.
Mayor Denagria.
Aye. Thank you very much, motion carries. I have bills and claims, there's several of us, I think we were all down there one time or another today. $144,608.53.
Make a motion to pay the bills and claims.
Is there a second?
Second.
Brian?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Before I ask for a motion to go into executive session on real property matters with our attorney, a couple of things. Tomorrow night is a National Night Out, 5 p.m., parking lot across the street from Sacred Heart. Chief, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be dumped again.
Well, we're certainly going to try.
Yes, sir.
If anyone would like to come down, let me make that clear so they know. If anyone would like to come down to the parking lot tomorrow from 5 o'clock on, the chief will be in the dunking tank. And there's 2 lines that you have to stand at to throw the softball. One's here and one's very close to the tank. And so I'll be very close to the tank, and anyone that wants to be joining me will be able to. All right? Chief?
Thanks.
That costs twice as much service in that goes.
Twice as much, whatever. Okay. So it's amazing how fast time goes, and we know that it does, but in a couple of weeks, August the 30th, which is a Friday night, August 30th is Army's first home game against Rice. And I think they're going to do very well this year, so I read. So we wish them luck. O'Neill's first game?
O'Neill's first game is probably that same week, but most of their early season games will be away
Okay.
while the fields are being redone.
Okay.
And they have a new coach.
And they just got a new coach. Yes.
They're gonna use an I formation this year.
Okay.
Let's don't give secrets away.
Yeah.
What's an I formation?
I'll give the strategy away.
Something Army does.
Yes.
All right. So the sidewalks are going to start around, we just awarded the bid around the 14th of August. I think Central Hudson is finishing up. By the time the contractor gets everything in place to do the sidewalks, we're looking around August 14th. The only reason I bring that up is because around August the 10th is a week. A weekend, a week, when the new plebes are accepted into the Corps of Cadets. And we know that's going to be a busy week here. It's one of their busiest downtown. And so I want to respect that and work around it. So we will work around the people that are going to be here. My last thing is this, assessments. So if you watch these meetings on somewhat of a regular basis, and maybe a couple of meetings ago, you saw me talk about assessments and how I thought it was wrong that Key Bank down the street here was given a $250,000 deduction in their assessment. I didn't particularly care for that when we're talking about a corporation that the CEO or whatever he's called took home millions and millions because he did a good job for that year. I really don't care about the millions that he took home, but I care about the reduction in a community that cannot afford to have a reduction of $1 in assessments. So Elise, through our village attorney, we need to talk about this soon. Because now, Key Bank, am I okay back there with my voice? Because I want to make sure everyone hears. Key Bank has submitted paperwork. It just had a $250,000 reduction that brings them down to $1 million for that building. Now they submit paperwork. They believe the assessment for that building should be $125,000. I'll say that again because when it was told to me, I thought there was a mistake. I have it here. They want it to be lowered to $125,000. Now we can all sit here and say, well, that won't happen. I guess that's what I would say. But they're going to get something. They think that building's worth $125,000, a major corporation. I will not, this cannot be tolerated. At least we have to do everything we can, over and above what the town attorney's doing. I have some issues with the town attorney already lowering Key Bank $250,000. Got it? That won't be tolerated. Number 2, Wine Green. Wine Green is assessed at $3 million. I'm going to round it. I'm rounding it off to the lower, so it's a little bit more than this. $3,700,000. $3,732,000 to be exact. They want a reduction of half. $1,866,200. I hope I'm not the only one in here that sees that this is not right. There's a building on Main Street that wants to go from $739,000. $739,000. $739,000. They want to go to $184,000. Now, I want the public to understand, in fact, in the bills tonight, someone had their assessment lowered, and we had to send them a refund check. And we'll have to do it with these once if they're given any kind of reduction, we have to go back and pay them for money they paid in for taxes. So it isn't just a question starting now. So I think that the town and the school and the village have to get together on this. Now, you have a lot of folks there, and there's going to be disagreement, I guess. And I'm not saying there's not injustice out there with some evaluations. But Key Bank, Wine Green, really?
There's no way for this village to make up that money if it's reduced. There is no possible way. The town couldn't do it, the village can't do it. They need to look at the formula, they need to look at our tax structure. And they need to look at our base. We don't have a strong industrial base or a retail base.
Brian?
Oh, we're gonna do that,
Huh?
Karen, like farmer's market.
Well, we can, but when I mentioned to Karen, when I came in, that in talking to board members, it's still under discussion.
Some people approached me about Clytes Avenue, that certain people are using it to go through to get down to our Main Street because it's quicker rather than go through some of the traffic on Main Street. And right now they're having some problems with people speeding up there. Trucks are coming through, and some of the trucks are having trouble when they go down through and then go onto Main Street. But some of the residents are saying it's summertime, the kids are out playing, and these cars are just coming by real quick.
Brian, that complaint is valid. As Merv has brought up so many times, on so many streets, my street, it's unbelievable. It's beyond. And one of the issues, and I don't know to the extent that it's an issue, but it is an issue. There are some folks that have GPS,
Yes.
and you're coming to West Point, and it actually takes you up by the hilltop onto those streets down, and actually some GPS systems take these tourists to Wilson Gate. Now, a lot of people might not know what Wilson Gate, we do as North Enders, that's at the dead end of Redoubt. The last time I saw that gate open, I was very young. We used to go under it on our backs. Of course, I couldn't do that now because this sticks up too far. But I don't think it's that funny, Chief. But that's an issue.
Yeah.
Mary Jane, you wanted to say
Well, I
something?
was going to say the same thing. I was going up by Billy Barron's house and turning up Drew the other day, and a tour bus, like a bus like Tom drives, I mean,
Oh.
the big was
Oh.
coming down Browns Hill
Oh,
and then down there. It's like,
Oh.
what? in the
That's what they
world?
But they're having
It-
problems making that turn.
He was having all sorts of problems, but it's got to be his GPS because
It
it
is,
would
it
never
is.
turn off there.
the folks on Redoubt say the amount of cars that go towards Wilson Gate is,
But I've been at meetings
Many.
where West Point people say they've been trying to fight it, not fight it, but to get whoever the GPS people are to fix it, but they've had trouble with that.
Kenny, could you speak to them up there? You have rapport with the provost marshal, with the GC. I can bring it up to the GC. I have a meeting coming up with him myself. It's tough. That's going to be a tough one to correct, I guess.
Maybe you want to have a sign on top of Mount Avenue. that
Yes.
says Main Street, a mile down the
Mile,
street.
mile down.
Something like that.
Something might help.
Or it would say Main Street, Village Shops.
But they
Yeah.
also shouldn't be coming down Mountain Avenue at all, the big tour buses and stuff. And there is a sign, I think, but they need to sit up there and send them away, because just coming down Mountain, they're in the middle of the road coming down. It's not safe.
Brian, thank you. It's an issue. Thank you. Anything else?
That's all I have.
I'll run through this real quick. First thing I gotta say is to the police department, thank you very much, because I gotta tell you, this summer, you guys are really out there. I mean, everybody's noticing, I hope everybody's noticing this, and especially lately with the medical calls. Without you guys being there on the scene before the medical gets there, I don't know. Because as you know, there's been a lot of calls right now because of the heat and everything else, and I know we appreciated the ambulance corps, and I hope the residents really appreciate what you're doing with that. Because you're right there all the time. And then with the traffic, I see a lot of red lights. That's good. I like that. So that looks real good. The park up at Roe Park, Mr. Mayor, they're enjoying it. I mean, there's a lot going on up there. Main Street's going on. The property maintenance, we had 2 tonight. That's good. The message is maybe getting out there. I mean, we had 2 tonight. I think that's really good. Transparency, I've mentioned this before that, you know, I work as Jim works. We all work. I'm in Rockland County 40 hours a week. So the transparency that I get here, Mr. Mayor, I appreciate it. You know, I appreciate that on the board. Gina, I appreciate it. I'm not feeling left out, which is nice. And the transparency is good, and that makes a more solid board, in my opinion, when you have good transparency. The DPW, good job to those fellas. And for John, I seen John weed whacking in 100-degree weather the other day with bugs all over him, and I got to tell you, God bless him. It was just, here's the DPW, the head of DPW, out weed whacking with the bugs in 100-degree humid weather. That was great. And for the Army football and all of that, I would really like to see, you know, the support in this community, you know, like a banner or flags or Go Army, you know, let's go. I think that would be great.
You're going to see Army flags
Good,
very, very, very soon.
good.
I appreciate what you said about the police, the highway department, all the employees.
Absolutely.
The transparency, you know I do these updates quite a bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're in red, sometimes they're in
It's
blue.
been good. It's been good.
Gene and I try to do that, if not once a week, once every 10 days. We do that and give you guys the updates. As far as the emergency services, police, fire, ambulance, I can't help but think all I've been watching on TV for the last couple of days in Detroit and El Paso is those agencies that responded. They're getting praise. The praise that the hospitals, the nurses, just everyone was right on. And every one of them talk about they just had a drill, they just had a practice. And I think sometimes we think about these drills and practices. I know we have them with West Point, we have them on our own. We think maybe it's a lot of time, do we need it? You need it. So Chief, thanks, and keep that stuff up, and thank you for your remarks. You okay? Okay. Mr. DeSalvo?
I just want to give a shout out to DPW again, because we had some issues on West Street, and they took care of them in regards to a rock wall that had been deteriorated. There's a large rock wall that goes almost takes up 3/4 of the road, and it goes the length of the 3/4 of the road, and there had been several rocks at the top that are concreted in, and they had fallen over, so I was
It's a drop. I mean, it's quite a drop.
Yeah, it's quite a drop. So I happened to be up there and I saw it, and I mentioned it to our street superintendent, and he put our street supervisor on it, Mr. Brent Frukin, and they took care of it. They were up there, I think, the next day, doing concrete work again in 100-degree weather, and you know, I know it's their job, but they've been doing very well, and it seems like every time I turn around, they're working on a project, so along with the PD and everybody else, but just echo what Trustee Livesey's comments were.
No exaggeration with that 100.
No, that's not.
No. Jim?
Yeah, I agree with Merv and Mr. Salvo. The DPW, they're out there. I've seen them cleaning up a lot of the sidewalks, the growth. You see Monday morning, first thing, they're coming down and they already have the truck loaded and it's 7:30 in the morning. So my hat's off to them. It's been a while since I brought up about the algae blooms, but going back in the newspaper, and seeing that there were some issues up at Bog Meadow. That is our only water resource. And I was on the website, and we do have an algae bloom, a new one, that they found out at Lake Tyrati. So I would just caution the residents that use Lake Tyrati with their kayaks, canoes, or rowboats. If they are going to also use that same one up at Bog Meadow, that they clean them before they put them in. Because that's the only way we can really get it up there. We're kind of blessed where our water location is up there. It's not like we can get that water harmful algae bloom unless someone brings it in. So I just ask that the people that utilize that be mindful of it. Speaking about the farmer's market, a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables down there, and Cornell Co-op Extension is going to be having some free workshops and classes. So if anybody would like to learn about one that they're going to be having in Middletown on August 24th, they're going to be doing pickling, which is pretty cool. I mean, and generally it's free or very, very minimum cost. So if anybody wants to go out there and find out how you can make your own pickles, it's a great thing to do. That's what's in my
Jim, I got one question for
Sure.
you. With the algae, is that the blue algae that you're warning about right now?
Yeah, it's like a bloom. It's down in Lake, and Rockland Lake also. They have two spotted
They have
locations.
signs posted, is that it?
Yes.
Didn't Greenwood Lake have that issue too?
Greenwood Lake has it big time. They don't even want you swimming or fishing in there right now.
Yeah.
But Greenwood Lake's unique because what happens at a Greenwood Lake, that used to be a bungalow community, and they have septics out there, and everything runs down the sides of those rock mountains, and it makes it to Greenwood Lake eventually, So that's why I said we're blessed where our water supply is right now, and we just don't need a boat bringing it in on the bottom.
Thank you. I'd like to have a motion to go into hold on one second, executive session. I want to note that Councilman Richard Perry is here tonight, and I appreciate when you come, Rich. Thank you. Yes,
I have a comment.
yes.
So I walk at
Could you
Road,
speak loud so we,
I walk at Road Park in the mornings,
yes.
and on the lake end by the Little League field, several of those trees have come down, and there's one bench there now,
Yes,
and there's the road, and then there's the gravel area.
yes.
Well, the other day, a lady thought she could only park on the gravel area. I mean, most of us still park on the road, but she thought she had to be on the gravel. She almost went into Roe Pond. I mean, she just kept scooting forward and scooting forward. Have you thought about like maybe one of those, like a fence like you have at Lady Cliff Park or
Yes.
something right along there? It's a
Yes,
little dangerous.
so as many know, Murr was a large part of this. We have $140,000 grant for 140. Some of it will go towards the pool, some will go towards the basketball court, some will go towards the rubber matting, I call it, that is the surface of the playground for the young kids. But we're looking at actually putting a small fishing pier, could we call it, at the south end, along with possibly a pavilion, but I want to say not like a pavilion that's at Roe Park, that size or anything, but a smaller one with a roof, 4 corners, with a couple of picnic tables in it, where people can sit under the shade and have a picnic. And so we're going to be cleaning that area up. We knew we had work to do there when the weeping willows were taken down because they were falling down.
Well, it's just pretty open right now, and
Yeah.
if somebody puts their car in the lake, it's going to be a mess.
So she thought,
She thought she had to be all the way on the gravel, which is fine, there's room, but she kept inching forward and about to start down that little hill, so
okay, I'll
I
take
stopped her.
Is it, okay. Thank you, Mary
You're
Jane.
welcome.
I really appreciate it, otherwise there would have been
I know,
an
tragedy.
emergency.
Is there a time for comment later?
No, we're done.
Okay. I just wanted to interject one thing about the request. As our market has developed, we have certainly increased the amount of work that we do to bring it to you and break it down. So I don't know what timing
And we all understand that.
I appreciate it.
No, there's no question about it, we understand
Thank you. And if there are any questions, please.
that.
feel free to
Absolutely.
contact me.
Thank you. No, we definitely understand that.
Mr. Mayor, there's no question.
I have another comment.
Let me just, on the agenda, this
The,
is public comment on agenda or other.
Other, exactly. So I got a press release
No,
today.
that's at the beginning.
I got a press release today from Steve Newhouse, and it was, this is the 20th anniversary of National Farmers Market Week, and our farmers market got a shout out in that press release today.
That's great,
Yeah,
as it should.
yeah.
And I thought maybe you were going
There
here,
were
that's
only 4, and we were one of them.
Whenever Holland Falls is mentioned, it lights me up.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. But I thought you were gonna go here. There it is. Yeah, this is what I want. You know, do you know how old Smokey the Bear is?
I
Do
don't.
you know who Smokey the Bear is?
I do.
And do you know how old Smokey the Bear is?
50.
No. Smokey the Bear is celebrating his 75th birthday this month.
Happy birthday, Smokey.
Happy birthday, Smokey.
He's having fun with the garbage bills.
He is. And that program really has prevented a lot of forest
Oh,
fires.
God.
It really brings the
Oh,
awareness
yeah.
out. So, good shout.
All right, I'm having people leave the meeting and, because we're talking about smoking and whatever. So I'll take a motion to adjourn. Motion to go into executive session with our attorney. Motion by Merv, is there a second? Second by Jim, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Sean.
Great.
Thank you.